Well, I see the screen on the camera, but not not my side. I see your side, so I thought that was me.
We live?
I think we're live. What's going on, guys? Hello.
Hey.
Happy Friday. Welcome to another Digital Storm live stream. Doing something a little bit different this time. I think you see the setup. Just gonna talk. Just gonna hang out and talk. No live build today, but next week maybe. But you know, since this is kind of new to us, the live streaming, we're just gonna experiment with a few different things, see what works, see what's fun, see what you guys like. If you guys have any suggestions, of course, leave them in the chat or Discord or wherever you guys can reach us. Just let us know what you guys want to see and what you want to see us to do, and we'll make it happen.
That's right.
But yeah, happy Friday. Happy Friday, Ernest.
Happy Friday to you. Do you have any plans for the weekend?
Plans for the weekend? No. So I got an injury on Sunday. I don't know if I told you.
What, you got
but
injured?
I got injured last Sunday.
Doing what?
I stubbed my big toe on like a step.
Oh.
But when I hit it,
oh, stop.
the entire nail bed healed up.
I have goosebumps, man.
So yeah, I have it wrapped right now, and I'm just kind of recovering from that. So I've been wearing.
That's why you were wearing flip. I was like,
flip flops or slippers all week, just to have like open toe to like protect my feet or the ease and comfort of walking. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, it sucks. It's a freak accident. Like I go to the gym all the time.
And you never dropped weights on yourself before either?
So like you get this freak accident that's not even related to like sports or weightlifting, and yeah, that sucks. Well, but yeah, I mean, that's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of relaxing. You got any plans?
Nope. It's way too hot right now.
It's supposed to cool down this weekend, starting tomorrow.
96, right? It's still like 90 degrees.
I think it's supposed to get down to 80s or something by the weekend.
Yeah. Well, at least, it's not so bad because nighttime in California is a little bit cooler, like 60-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been sitting with the windows open all week and the fans on and everything. But I did want to ask you, though. I think I had two questions to ask you. So last week we did a live build.
Yep.
It was my first time building a Hydrolux PC. I think you came in Monday and you took that PC.
Yeah.
Right? So I guess give me your review of it. How did I do? How'd that PC turn out?
It wasn't bad. I mean, I fixed a couple things like the wiring here and there, but overall it was fine.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if you tracked it like through testing or anything, but
everything, it passed through testing, no problems. You need to tighten down the fittings some more though, because a bunch of them are loose.
I think I mean, we're at one point we were rushing it.
Yeah.
So and then
I think it was I told you before the stream is like how to check for the 90s and if they're tight or not, but there were a couple that were kind of loose, but I think mainly is because it was a long stream.
I remember like getting the tool in there, the clamp, and just it's kind of hard to twist. You're limited to working like a workspace.
Yeah,
small.
That's okay. I fixed it.
Okay. I mean,
no leaks. So
I did a good job, right? I need you to tell me I did a good job.
You did a great job. You can do it again.
I also wanted to ask you because I think Diablo 4 expansion comes out today.
No.
Right? Oh.
No. So it comes out on the 7th. For some, it's a world release, right? So some people will get it on the 7th and some people will get it on the 8th. But it should be either next Tuesday or Monday, depending on where you are in the world.
I say October 4th.
No, they pushed it to 7 or 8, or is it 8 or 9? I don't know, one of the 2 days. It's next week.
I asked that because you said you're a huge Diablo 4 player.
I wouldn't say huge.
Would you get this new expansion?
Yeah, I already.
Oh,
but
already.
I played the first season, and when it came out, it was a pretty bad game. Like a lot of the features were broken.
But they made a lot of changes.
Yeah, I stopped playing, and I only recently started playing again, which is season 5. Thankfully, they fixed a lot of the things, so I think I waited a decent amount of time.
Okay.
I just kind of wish I played the other seasons because I missed out on a lot of free skins and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think for me, after Diablo 3, it kind of put me off that franchise.
Yeah.
But I did get back into it when they released Diablo Resurrection, Diablo 2
Immortal?
Resurrection.
Oh, 2.
Yeah, it was basically just a remake of Diablo 2, like with quality and life improvements and everything. But yeah, that game was pretty fun. I mean, for me, I think it was just a nostalgia thing. But I still like that genre. Like I play a lot of Path of Exile still, kind of.
Are you excited for Path of Exile 2?
Well, we'll see.
Is it in beta yet or open beta?
I don't follow the names on it. But like, yeah, I'm kind of burnt out of those type of games. But I do enjoy them.
I mean, Diablo 4 is a much simpler game.
I mean, I don't know if you
could pretty easily pick it up and just like have fun.
I
Not
don't know
like
if you ever played.
Path of
Yeah, I
Exile.
don't know if you ever played Path of Exile.
Yeah,
but
no,
it's,
that game, the trees is
yeah,
the skill trees are
really
just
good.
like
the nodes they branch out everywhere.
it's great. It's I've seen and I was like, that's a little bit too much for me.
Yeah, I got pretty deep into it, like theory crafting, right? Like,
Yeah.
kind of just coming up with ideas of how certain builds will work. That was kind of interesting to me.
Oh,
So I
like-
kind of got into that.
You could go any route in that
Yeah,
game,
yeah.
right? Like it's just like this huge circle
Yeah.
of
So you start in like, just think about compass, right?
Yeah.
There's like northwest, south, and then there's like northeast and all that, right?
Mhm.
And you could, yeah, you start. Let's say you start in the west side, you could branch out to like all the way to the south, southeast.
So
if you
like
wanted
go
to.
up and
Yeah.
around or any direction, right?
Yeah.
Whatever works best.
So-
And min-maxing, that sort of stuff.
Cool.
You want to go over to our first topic?
Yeah. Oh, so just do some quick introductions. My name's Morris. This is Ernest. We got Irvin in the background. Say hi, Irvin. Hello. I didn't even hear him.
I heard him kind of. I heard, hey.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think we could just quickly go over some of the. I would say they're like frequently asked questions about Digital Storm. You know,
Like-
kind of like what I guess what the
What each stage means, I guess,
yeah
right?
yeah. So maybe just let people know a little bit about that and see if you answer the questions.
Sure. So over here we separate, the process into stages 1 through 7. 1 and 2 are generally processing and then inventory pulling. So inventory will pull the parts and get them ready. Once your order hits stage 3, that means it's ready to be built. So we have all the parts, and then the assembler will pick it up. They're going to stage it to 4. 4 means in the process of. So your order may stay in stage 4 for a little bit of time, depending on, if we really are out of parts or if there is an issue with the order and we have to contact you and we're just waiting for your response. Once your order is finished, it's going to go to testing, which is stage 5. And, we use Ada. I'm kind of blanking.
So we
I know we
kinda
use
like
Ada, but we
industry
do-
standard software to test.
Yeah, so we'll do that. If we do find any issues during testing, we'll let you know if you need to switch parts or something, right? And then it'll go to QA. Once it's done being QA'd, it's going to go to stage 7, which is shipping. So the one thing about shipping is just because you hit stage 7, it doesn't mean that it has shipped. Your order hasn't shipped until you receive that tracking number in the email.
Yeah.
Also depends on the time of day. So like if your order hits stage 7 around like 3 p.m. or I guess later in the day, it's most likely going to ship the next day just because, we still need to package it. The truck needs to come pick it up, and maybe, the truck already came, so we might have
Yeah.
missed it.
Like was it FedEx? They have certain schedules for the routes,
Yeah.
right? Like sometimes they come at 2 o'clock every time.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's different, right?
Yeah, so there's like different trucks for,
Yeah.
whatever type of shipping
Yeah.
method we use.
I will say though, for like, if you're stuck in stage 4, what's stage 4 again?
Assembly.
Assembly, yeah. And you're like missing parts, we do kind of make an effort to kind of reach out
Yeah,
and contact
yeah.
the customer. Hey, our customer service team will reach out to you. These parts are missing, just letting you know. Your order might be delayed by a little bit.
Yeah, generally if we're waiting on a part for maybe 1-2 days and we know it for sure it's going to come in, we might not reach out just because, that's within our expected build times, right? But if it's a part where we have no idea when our suppliers will come through with it, we might ask you, hey, are you willing to wait maybe 2 to 3 weeks for that part, or do you want to just swap it to something else?
Yeah.
That we
And
do have in stock.
talking about kind of expected build times, because I get this question a lot too on like social media, right? I see some of the comments, they're asking like, oh, when is my order going to ship? And I check the order and the order is like 2 days old, right? So on our website we list estimated ship times to be 5 to 10 business days.
Yeah.
Right, but then when you select your shipping method, you could select like overnight, for example, right?
Oh, yeah.
But when you select overnight shipping, it doesn't mean the PC is going to be built and ready to ship overnight. It means when the PC is ready to ship, it's going to ship with that overnight shipping method. So it still takes, about like 5 to 10 business days for us to build, test, and QA the PC and everything. But when that's all done and it's ready to ship, it'll ship with your, shipping method, whatever.
Yeah, so
whatever
I
you
mean,
chose.
to expand on that, once it's in stage 7, that's when you can expect it overnight. As soon as it's on the truck, going out, through whatever shipping method you select. But we do have a priority build. So what priority build is, you pay a little bit extra and you get to jump the line and, will build and ship your PC within 4 days. Is it 4 days now, or did they lower it to 3? It's either 3 or 4 days, but it's an incredibly short amount of time. The only caveat with that is if you select a build and we don't have the parts, we won't take the priority build. So we won't take your money and then be like, oh, we can't do it. So we'll make sure that we have everything and we can fulfill that short period of ship time.
Yeah, I mean, either way, our customer service team will make a good effort to reach out and let you guys know the status of your order, if there is any delays on it. So yeah, I mean, I think that covered everything, right? It's a good explanation for everything.
I mean, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to reach out on Discord or give us a call. It seems like just Joshin has a question. Is it easy to replace the water when I need to? I'm assuming, are you talking about a Hydrolux system? We do have videos on the YouTube channel where it shows you how to drain and, fill the system.
If you just want to fill it, the process is pretty easy, right? You just
replace.
unplug.
You said replace.
Oh.
Yeah,
my bad.
But there are videos for some of the newer cases. There aren't, but we do for all of the updated cases. We do have all drain plugs, or not drain plugs, drain ports. So we make it really easy to drain your system, and you should be able to refill it.
Yeah. If you check our YouTube channel, there should be a playlist on what's it called?
Hydrolux maintenance.
Yeah, like a maintenance playlist where you could kind of it should show you all the videos on how to replace certain parts and how to fill. So
yeah, you can also reach out to the customer support. Like Concept says, our customer support, the techs are pretty good. They're fairly familiar with walking people through how to drain, refill, or even do like maintenance, like replacing parts too.
Customer support, excellent. Great people on there.
Would it be easy to upgrade the CPU and GPU as well? If they're both water cooled, it is a little bit more complicated. It's not terribly difficult. It can be done, but you probably will need customer support, not technical support for that.
Yeah, and you want to make sure your CPU is always compatible with your motherboard too.
Yeah.
But this week's show will be
just talking.
Just hang out talking. We do have some topics to talk about that we found pretty interesting. That's happening throughout the industry. So I think we can just jump into the first topic, right?
Yep.
So our first topic, new California law inspired by Ubisoft and Sony. So basically what happened is, this new law is basically proposing when you buy games, there should be a warning sign letting the customer know that these games could potentially be pulled without warning.
Yeah.
Right? Like you lose access to games potentially. Yeah. And this came up because Ubisoft pulled, I think it was The Crew.
Yep,
The Crew 2? Or
I think it was the first one.
Yeah, I don't think The Crew 2 is out yet, right?
No, it is.
Was it?
Yeah, it's been a game for a while, but they pulled the game.
Yeah, so this came out because Ubisoft pulled The Crew, and it basically prevented anybody from playing it. Anybody who owned The Crew video game, they didn't have access to it anymore.
I think it's more prevalent with the games that are always online. So you needed an internet access or needed internet access to play The Crew, even if you wanted to play single player.
Yes.
So it just kind of sucks.
It brings up an interesting kind of conversation about what is ownership, right? Like when I buy a game, I expect to own that game and I expect to be able to access it anytime I want, right? But if companies, developers start adding these, I guess, fine print
or not lifelines, but like a term to the game. It's like, oh, we'll support this game up to 10 years and then that's it.
Yeah, so if that happens, that's kind of like I mean, at the same time, for me, it's like, 10 years, like, I think I got a good amount of play during that time, 10 years, right? So I'm not too worried about it, but I can see why people, especially if you're a hardcore player, because I know there's people out there who play like games for years and years, over 10 years, right?
I think, sorry to cut you off, but like, I think it's, it also goes into like, in the past, when you're playing on a console, you buy that CD, you can play that game as long as you have that CD and that CD is good.
Yeah.
But now, because it's a digital copy, even though, like, I mean, I just recently found out I don't own any of those games. I just own the licenses to use the game, right? So if I paid $70 for a game and I can't play it 10 years from now, even if I'm probably not going to play it 10 years from now, but even if I can, it does leave a really bad taste in my mouth.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
you know, it's like, I thought I owned it. I gave you money.
Yeah.
Right.
Like this situation, what happened with Ubisoft and the crew, I think it's so rare. But, you know, I understand why the law is in there to, you know, protect consumers, obviously, right? But it happens so infrequently and it's so rare that it might not be a huge issue. Like you said, if the situation is like 10 years from now, they pull Diablo 4 off the offline, you know, are people still going to be, or will people complain about it? You know,
I think they would, because like,
I think a hardcore.
Yeah, the hardcore fans, right? Because like, there's also collectibles, that all those virtual things that you spent hours. Maybe every once in a while you want to go back and look at them. I don't know, but it does suck. And I know there's like a huge petition going on in the EU about it. About where they want to make it so, you know, you own the game, right? So you're not licensing it. But
so in this law, I think they listed like 3 points that you could do that they require developers to do. You either put a warning, you make the game have an offline mode, and I think there was a third option.
You have to list when you're buying. Oh, that's a warning, huh? I guess.
Yeah, but I think so. The law is basically saying, oh yeah, so there it is. But
so
no, I mean, you guys can see it on stream.
The aforementioned affirmative acknowledgement at each transaction, or the clear and conspicuous warning, meaning when you buy it, it's like it's telling you straight up, you don't own this game. You're just buying a license to use it. Or the digital product in question is free. So like, I'm guessing free to play games. But I'm not sure how microtransactions play into that, because then it's not really free to play, right? Or they offer a permanent offline mode so that you can download it to an external drive and play whenever you want.
So from what I'm understanding based off this article, it's basically saying the developers or publishers or whoever, they only need to meet one of those requirements. They don't have to do all 3. So they could just put a warning label on it and
they're set.
And they're set. So in a way, it's still, because, you know, when you buy a game, are you really reading through all the
I guess that's
and all that?
Yeah, that makes some sense, because like there's some games where they're literally multiplayer only, you know. Like,
so so those are online only games. You really can't make those
you can't make it offline, or you risk lots of things, you know.
I think that one of the points of this bill is that it doesn't actually affect only the ownership of games, but any digital asset. So that includes also music. The bottom line is that you can't say, as a seller or retailer or whatever, that you are purchasing, you as a consumer purchasing these, but what you're actually buying is a license, and that has to be the disclaimer for that has to be apart from other terms and conditions. So the bottom line is that they want to make sure, in an understandable manner, that the customer knows that he's not actually owing. So that's the bottom line.
I mean, that would be pretty wild to, like, you know, since this applies to all digital goods, right? Like music, for example. It'd be pretty wild if you buy an album and then 10 years from now, the artist decides to just take that album off the market. That kind of suck. But I was reading through this article, right? And like, and then I scrolled down to the comments. So I noticed one comment, it said, if buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't streaming or stealing. So, you know, it kind of brings up an interesting question about, like, you know, is piracy stealing?
That's going to return in later.
Piracy stealing.
I mean,
absolutely. I think. I mean, if you're not paying for something,
if you're taking something,
I think we've all pirated something at one point, right? But if it's a paid game and you don't pay for it, that's stealing, right?
I think, at the end of the day, it's like if you're taking something without permission, it's considered stealing, right? Whether you sell it or not, if you're just using it,
whether you mean to or not, you know, it's still not ideal, because at the end of the day, you're still hurting the developer or whoever is producing that.
But I mean, I think overall this law it's supposed to go into effect in 2025 for California only. It's state only, so it's only for California. But I think either way, it's an interesting kind of step for the industry, because it just kind of brings more awareness to
I mean, it's kind of like that EU thing with the USB-C on iPhones or across all phones. It's forcing them to do it, and then eventually it should tidal wave into the
you know, maybe like 5 years from now, there'll be even more consumer protection laws
Yeah.
for gamers.
Yeah, we hope so, right? Because I mean, Steam pulls a bunch of games from their store all the time, and then you just lose it. You can't download. If you have it downloaded, you can still play it, but if you don't, it's gone forever.
Yeah, I was actually looking through my Steam library last night just to see which games I could still access, and I can still access all of them. So, I'm not saying that this law isn't going to affect much, but it's a good. I think it's a good step.
Yeah.
In the right direction.
I
think.
I mean, hopefully people build on it.
Yeah.
Next topic.
Oh,
The next one is PlayStation Network outage.
Yeah, so I saw this. It was pretty big news, I think, on Monday. I think it happened Monday, and it happened Monday night, and it went through Tuesday.
Yeah.
So basically, PlayStation Network, it went down completely, right? And nobody had access to their games.
Yeah,
they had access to offline games, but like
CDs or
whatever offline game is.
So with PSN being down, right? Does that also affect like they can't check if you have the license for the game, so they don't let you play it, right?
So DRM titles, was it digital? What's DRM stand for? Digital rights management.
Yeah.
If your game has DRM, you most likely wouldn't be able to play when PSN is down.
Yeah, that's
right. So it's it was kind of a huge thing on Monday and Tuesday.
Can you imagine going home after a long day of work and you're sitting down and you're like, oh, I can't wait to play.
Yeah.
It's just like, guess what? Nope.
You gotta do some chores.
Man,
go do your chores.
I'd stab my controller on the spot.
And that's why we have Digital Storm PCs.
Oh yeah, that's
just get a PC. I was surprised, it's like consoles, they still require subscription fees to access internet.
What? Like oh, that's right. There's you have to pay for like PS Plus or not Plus, but like the online.
Just to have that feature, I think you have to pay a monthly subscription for it.
Like Xbox Live. I don't know what PS. I guess it's just PSN.
Which is kind of wild. I mean, you still have to pay internet bills and all that for your house, right?
Damn.
So even for a computer, you still have to pay some internet. But
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
Yeah. So, I guess entry is a lot lower for a console compared to like a PC. I mean, I guess you could get a really low end PC, still enter, but
oh, that kind of reminds me, we do have an idea about doing another live stream coming soon. Maybe we could do like a
comparison,
$700 PC versus PS5, because PS5 is like around $700, right? Yeah, so we can compare the performance, I guess, of a $700 computer versus PlayStation.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I would. But yeah, I think this I found this news pretty interesting. Sony never kind of addressed what happened. Like they kind of just let it go. Nobody in Sony addressed it, which, from like a consumer standpoint, I think it's kind of like you want some transparency, right? If something happens to your network and like millions of people are locked out, you kind of want to address it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it just sucks.
Yeah.
Right? Like that, if I were a console user and I was kind of on the fence about switching over to PC, I think something like that happening would definitely push me over the edge of like, I'm just going to sell this and go into PC. I don't know, the way I view it, because like a PC is much more versatile.
Yeah.
So
it is. I mean, you can do a lot more in the PC other than gaming.
Yeah. That's like the other big thing, right?
You could just
issue doesn't allow you to play any games that require internet connection in your library, right? Exactly.
Yeah, so as long as it has DRM.
Yeah, anything that requires internet access, you can't do with PlayStation when it was down. But like I said, you just get a PC and emulate a PlayStation.
And your only problem will be internet. If your internet goes out, because that happens sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I find that pretty interesting. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just sad. Like, sad, not sad. It's it just sucks.
Yeah, it just sucks.
At the end of the day, it just really, really sucks. Because I feel for people, right?
It was 8 hours, so Monday night to like Tuesday morning.
The highest usage hours, most likely.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because it's nighttime.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, people get off work, they want to go home and just chill.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
So, we have the next topic up.
So our next topic is Ubisoft admits X-Defined flop, adding to company's woes.
Yeah.
So, I think we all know Ubisoft is kind of going through some struggles right now, right?
Rough times.
Yeah. But what I found interesting about this title or this article was that, so it says in the article somewhere, right, that Ubisoft admitted that X Defiant had very low expectations, right? But even then, X Defiant didn't meet those expectations. So it was like, it was a huge flop for them, right? And I guess if for those who don't know, X Defiant is a type of I think you compare it
like
to
a hero shooter almost.
Yeah,
you have
they compared it a lot to Overwatch, right?
Yeah, but not a little bit different.
Yeah,
the gameplay was good. It just wasn't memorable. I mean,
so I guess what they did wrong. So Ubisoft, they use factions from the Ubiverse.
Yeah.
Like, so if you're familiar with the Ubiverse, you would know certain characters in it, right? From
like
certain games.
Splinter Cell,
yeah, like
The
Far
Division,
Cry,
Far Cry.
And they use those factions in X Defiant.
Ghost Recon.
Yeah. But if you don't know those characters, then you wouldn't know who these people are.
Yeah.
Right. So I think they I guess they put too much emphasis in that. And so it was just kind of like got lost.
Yeah.
And plus you're going against like what, Overwatch? Overwatch is free, right?
Yeah, Overwatch. I mean, X Defiant is free too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just the gameplay was good, right? But it wasn't anything.
Yeah, you played it, right?
Yeah, I played it for a short period of time. I mean, it plays okay, but it's not memorable. Okay. Right? There's nothing about that game that makes me want to like, oh yeah, I want to go back and play this. Right? Yeah. There's nothing. It feels like a free-to-play game. Like, sounds mean, but like a really lower end free-to-play.
I mean, they did have low expectations.
They crammed a lot of like skins. They tried to, right? There's a lot of skins that you can buy, and it feels like a free-to-play game. Other than that, yeah, there's guns, you shoot.
Yeah.
That's it.
So,
like right now, like I couldn't tell you what it was like to play the game because it's not that memorable.
Yeah. So it's interesting because, Ubisoft, this is kind of like a string of issues they've been having, right? The, Star Wars Outlaws was kind of like,
wasn't really, I mean,
I wouldn't say it got like,
a lot of people were unhappy.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of got not controversial, but kind of like some negative critical reviews, right, on it. Star Wars Outlaws, Assassin's Creed Shadows got pulled back.
Yeah,
pushed. The release date got pushed back because I guess it's not ready.
Controversially.
Yeah, so again, X Defiant, right? So these are kind of just a string of issues with Ubisoft. And then actually today I saw, I guess it's a rumor that Tencent wants to buy out Ubisoft now.
Like the entire company?
Yeah.
Oh.
So.
Dang. I hope so.
It's just, the thing is, like, if you actually look at the Ubisoft library and their list of games, they actually have like huge titles attached to them, like huge intellectual property attached to them, like Far Cry. Was it
Assassin's Creed is
Tom Clancy,
really big one.
Tom Clancy has like what, Division, Ghost Recon, bunch of other games.
All of the games, like I would say Tom Clancy and Ubisoft are like
exactly
like hand in hand
but those are just like their big main series that they have. Like Far Cry is up to what, Far Cry 6?
They have Uno as well.
So they have a
Uno's
bunch of
actually
other
really
games
fun.
So what I'm thinking is maybe Ubisoft is like just stretching themselves too thin, focusing all these different titles, right? So if they just kind of focus on their main kind of bread and butter, like Assassin's Creed or
like the Tom Clancy
Prince
games,
of Persia or something,
right?
Yeah.
Well, they have a lot of studios across the world too. So there's like Ubisoft, I think Shanghai and Montreal, and all those games will work on a game. It's not like, they're splitting apart, but they were in those games for years.
Okay.
Right. But they do kind of,
the
end product doesn't match.
I mean, it's tough to see because like I like Ubisoft games, right? I played Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I had a great time with Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Right? That game was fun. All the Assassin's Creed games, I think.
That's the Valhalla one, right? Or no, that's Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Huh?
No, it was a
Sparta.
Yeah, Assassin's
Odyssey
Creed Odyssey
was
is
the Sparta one.
Spartan ones, the Greek mythology and all
that one was good. And then if you haven't played Valhalla is actually really, really good.
They make great games. Like Division 2 is great. I know, like me and my brother still occasionally go back to that game and kind of grind.
It's a good like shooting game and it feels good.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's been around for 5 years and their servers are still alive, then obviously it's not as good now. But
I think you get to the point where the issue is actually what you mentioned, that they have really good IP and they
don't capitalize.
exploiting them.
Yeah.
to the point where they're not getting innovative with them, and that's what people want.
Yeah.
Reflected. They actually did like NFTs at a certain point,
Huh?
which is an interesting idea on paper, but like
I think everybody's.
I think everybody
dabbled.
did. Yeah, I think everybody did NFT at one point. But yeah, like I was looking forward to Assassin's Creed Shadows because apparently they're supposed to make Assassin's Creed Shadows.
2 characters.
Well, 2 characters, but it's supposed to be more like the old Assassin's Creed games. So it's not supposed to be like Odyssey where it's kind of like RPG.
Like
you have
you're
armor.
actually combat fighting, you know, right?
Well,
that one had a lot of criticism because of the usage of weapons that were out of the time where the actual game take place.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of the criticism, and at some point I was like you're kind of criticizing
Fantasy.
to like
Yeah, I think some-
to them, and I think it's because it's them that people are criticizing them.
I think some of those criticisms are a little bit nitpicky, right? Because you know, I'm not aware of Japanese culture or the lore, you know what I mean? So like if I play the game, I'll be like, okay, cool, this is what kind of Japanese is represented by. Even though it's not accurate in terms of timeline, it's still probably accurate in terms of like the actual content, right?
Pretty sure
Is your
Wuhan
mic on,
took
Irvin?
some-
Somebody commented that you need a mic.
Oh. Man's been
Well, he
talking
does
to
have a
himself.
mic, but it might not be on. Can you hear him now, Nick? So we might just be sitting here.
You guys let me know if you can hear me.
I mean, I see the, yeah, I see your
Oh, you just
visual
turned it all
bar.
the way down.
Yeah, like I only do it when I talk because if not, it's gonna be.
Yeah, so turn it up
Try
when you're
it. Try
actually
to
talking.
test it.
Just live stream
Just let me know if
troubleshooting.
you guys can hear me when I'm
Or maybe that mic is really bad.
No, that mic it should be good.
Wow. Yeah.
Hey.
It's a digital storm headset. It's perfect. But yeah, I think the Ubisoft thing, it's too bad, honestly. Like they
Yeah.
have great titles. I want to see them continue making great games. Like, you know, yeah, Division, Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I mean,
I
just expanding on what they did good, which was like a majority of the Tom Clancy games were decent.
Yeah.
I would say, you know,
Yeah, like Splinter Cell, right?
Future
haven't
Warrior.
made-
Have you played Future
haven't.
Warrior? It's a really
I don't know what it
old
is.
game, but that game was fun.
Okay.
It was like a co-op mission to mission. You know, you go in with 4 people, you kill each other by
I
accident.
remember playing some old Ghost Recon games. Those are fun.
Yeah.
Ghost Recon, Splinter Cell.
Oh, Splinter Cell was really good. I
Yeah.
really liked Splinter Cell.
They need to make, well, not Ubisoft, but somebody needs to make a great stealth type of action game. I love stealth games. Looking around, just killing people.
Oh yeah.
That's fun for me.
Going through and it's like, haven't been seen, not
Yeah.
detected.
Yeah.
At the end,
Hitman.
it says
Well,
you're
Hitman's that.
muffled. It might be your hair, Irvin.
Oh yeah, it might be your hair. Get the mic out of your hair.
You're hairy. Well, you
He
are.
has-
You have a lot of hair.
he has long hair. Very long hair.
Yeah, I think it just might.
Luxurious, beautiful long hair. Fabio.
Well, at that point,
Yeah,
we
I
get.
think that the thing is with Ubisoft is they found a formula for the game, and they followed that formula for so many generations of installments of the same game that it got to a point where consumers don't feel that happy about it. Another game that became formulaic too.
You don't want to talk about the next one?
Oh, we can
skip it over.
we can
man.
skip over. We can go
All
back
right.
to it.
So, Nintendo versus Palworld.
Yeah,
It's a
so
big one.
yeah, I think everybody knows what's going on with this issue, right? So Nintendo, well, everybody knows what Palworld is, right? Palworld is another, kind of like a Minecraft game. Kind
If
of
you don't
build-
know what it is,
yeah, it's kind of like a build your own adventure.
it's yeah, kind of basically. It's like if you've seen Ark Survival, the one where you tame dinosaurs, is
Yeah.
similar, except now you have pals.
Yeah.
They're called pals, but
And
they're
pals
Pokemon
resemble a lot of like the Pokemon design, but that's not the main issue. The copying the design of the Pokemon isn't the issue. I guess what this main lawsuit that Pokemon is bringing down on Palworld is that they're copying the concept of throwing a Pokeball to catch the creatures.
ball. Or we don't know yet. I don't think it's been named yet, but people are assuming or inferring that it's a bunch of things that, because they're looking up what Nintendo has patents on, and one of them is catching a Pokemon or a creature, I think, with a ball.
Yeah.
And everyone's saying that that might be what they're suing about, or
that's exactly
some
what-
other things too,
yeah.
which is like
That's
I think
exactly what
riding a creature.
I mean, that's well. I think it was just giving an example from the article, but like, yeah, you can't patent riding a creature because
It's too broad.
yeah, it's too broad.
Right.
So basically, from what this article was discussing, it was breaking down kind of like patent law, basically, and we're gonna try to simplify it, you know, in our language for you guys. But
We're
basically,
not lawyers. We also don't know.
yeah, a lot of this article is kind of just speculation still, right? Because nobody actually knows what the Nintendo patent is yet, until they actually kind of go to court with it. But yeah, what I found interesting for this is that for a patent, if it's too narrow, then you're kind of leaving yourself to be attacked, because you know you could change like one slight thing, and if that's not mentioned in the patent, then it's technically
It's not
not
covered.
infringing.
Like, let's say catching a Pokemon with a Pokeball. If
Yeah.
those are the words in
If
your
those are
patent,
exact words, yeah,
all I have to do is change it to PAL
yeah,
with a ball.
yeah.
You know, and that's it.
So
Well-
in the game Palworld, the Pokeballs are called Pal Spheres, and the Pokemon are called Pals.
They have guns too.
Yeah, yeah. So I think the main thing for Nintendo is that they don't want to be associated with
That type of
with
gameplay.
this type of game. Yeah.
You know.
So in the article, it even says, you know, one reason why Nintendo is bringing this lawsuit down is because they don't want to be compared to Palworld. Right? They want to be kind of their own separate thing.
Yeah.
You know, Pokemon, Nintendo, kind of like a family-friendly thing. Obviously, they don't want to be involved with like creatures or Pokemon
Yeah.
shooting guns
and
right?
dying,
Yeah,
animal abuse.
and being eaten. So
But also, you know, part of the article too is like if Palworld didn't have the success that it has now, they might have not pursued it at all.
yeah. So yeah, near the end of the article, it talks about like neither party, either Nintendo or Pocket Pair, which makes Palworld, they don't want to go to court, right? Because it's a lot of resources,
Money.
Yeah. So they might have to settle on something. Obviously, Palworld is not going to stop being distributed, right? Because they
Yeah.
just released for PS5.
I think a mobile version too.
Yeah. So obviously they're not going to pull the game from the market, right?
But on Nintendo's side too, it's like if they don't pursue this somewhere down the line, if somebody else does it,
Yeah.
they lose that right
Yeah.
because
So what might end up happening is that Palworld or Pocket Pair, they might have to license the patent. I'm not sure how that works, but they might have to license something, and they might have to end up giving Nintendo like a fee for
Yeah.
using this idea, or I guess
or I mean Nintendo could tell them not to, right?
Yeah.
They could just deny them, or I mean, or they might win,
well,
right? There's also that option.
Yeah.
It will for sure change a lot of the legal problems they create into how many similarities you can have with other games.
Yeah.
The developer.
Yeah, I mean, when you get into patent law, you have to be. It's like a fine line of being specific, but not too broad.
Yeah, so from the article it says it's well, this is the words of, let's see.
They had to draw
there's no
a
name.
lawyer to explain.
Yeah, it was a US patent.
Explain how.
Yeah, so I think that's important too.
He was a US patent lawyer.
yeah. So this
don't think I
lawsuit
printed
is
out his name.
happening in Japan. So the laws might be slightly different.
Yeah, they're different.
But it's yeah, a lot
Kirk
of,
Sigmund,
Yeah.
an IP attorney.
yeah.
So
And he also said that Palworld or Pocket Pair, they need to hire experts in this, because you can't just get a regular lawyer,
yeah,
which
'cause
obviously costs money.
there's a
and-
lot of caveats to it, right?
Yeah.
And certain specialties will know what to look for. I mean, even here he said there's a precedent of, I think it was Blizzard. He says somebody was going against Blizzard, or Blizzard was going against somebody, vice versa. They were using Dungeons and Dragons manuals
as evidence, I guess.
yeah, evidence to prove like this is, we have the right to use what you patent.
because it's been done before.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a fine line, I think. I mean, I don't see Palworld being pulled from the market. That'd be kind of crazy.
I think it was already pulled from Steam stores.
Was it?
Yeah, I thought it was already pulled temporarily, not like permanently. I thought it was pulled. Can we? Let's see.
I think I still have access to Palworld online.
If you have it, I think you can still play it.
but they
you
don't-
just can't buy it.
Well, I mean,
anymore.
that might have been the Steam
Oh wait, never
stores.
mind. You can buy it.
Yeah. because they just released it for PS5, I think. So they're still like distributing the game.
Yeah, I thought it
I mean,
was.
obviously Nintendo will want them to stop, but I don't think that's a huge ask. You know, I don't know if that's
I
possible.
don't think so. But I mean, if they win, they could just up the price of the conclusion of that lawsuit. More money for them, right? Damages.
More money for Nintendo.
Yeah, if Nintendo wins, it's more damage to their brand because they're misrepresenting certain things.
Yeah, it's weird because, you know, everybody associates Palworld with the
Guns.
Pokemon with guns type of game. So yeah, I mean, I understand where Nintendo's coming in Pokemon. They obviously want to protect their image and their IP, right? But
yeah, I mean, all this stuff is really interesting. Like, this whole
Yeah,
article
yeah.
is very informative. Like, I didn't know patents could be done in games. I thought they were only for inventions, but I guess, you know, game concepts
yeah, like,
can be inventions, right? Like,
yeah, ideas I think can be patented.
and going over the, I think we skipped over, it's like being a patent being too narrow versus it being too broad.
Yeah.
That's another issue. Like, if it's too narrow, you know, you're describing too little of what you're trying to protect.
And someone can change something very slightly too.
And if it's too
bypass it.
broad, that patent can be thrown out because you're trying to cover way too much.
Yeah.
Like, I want to cover people sitting at a table.
Yeah.
That's way too broad, right?
Yeah,
So,
like
if it went to court or if I tried to enforce it, it would get thrown out.
Yeah.
I would lose my patent.
yeah, like riding a Pokemon. You can't patent that because
You might be able to. You can't.
I
have
could ride a
Pokemon.
horse. I could ride a horse and like
It's not a Pokemon.
oh yeah, it's super interesting stuff. I don't know where it's gonna go. I think it's not going to court yet. It's still kind of in this discovery phase, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out, or it's also gonna be interesting to see what like Nintendo is actually suing for,
Yeah.
like which patents, because they have a lot.
I mean, I think it's the idea of throwing a Pokeball or throwing a ball to capture a
I
creature.
thought it was multiple. It wasn't
There's
just gonna
multiple,
be, yeah.
but I think that's the biggest one because that's like, I mean, I don't know any other game,
They use the ball.
yeah, that uses that idea of, you know, grabbing a ball, throwing it to catch something. I don't think there's any game out there that does that. So it's I like your shirt, by the way. It's a Pokemon shirt.
Yeah, I like this shirt. It's from the Uniqlo. Their shirts
oh,
are actually really comfortable
their
and
collab.
thick and
Yeah,
quality.
little Pikachu shirt.
Yeah. Nick says Apple has patents on ideas that they are possibly years from bringing to the
Yeah,
market.
so that's the thing too. It's you know, if you have an idea, you can patent it right away and just like sit on it
Yeah,
and
that's true.
just
But in Apple's way, right? Wouldn't it be more like hardware than? I guess they could,
patent ideas like, I don't know.
like the way you swipe from
Yeah.
screen to screen, right?
Yeah.
So that would also fall under. Yeah, it's kind of like a dick move,
I mean,
but
It's-
you want to protect yourself.
if you feel like, so what this is saying is that if you feel like you have an idea that is new, novel, or non-obvious,
Yeah,
obviously you want to patent it, right? Because you think that idea is like, you think you're the inventor of that idea,
yeah.
right? So if you think that, you obviously want to protect it. So
Just in
it's-
case somebody else
yeah.
has that,
So it's just kind of like covering their own ass, basically.
because you don't want to go down the line developing something.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, somebody else has a patent, and you have to stop.
Yeah.
The
So
issue that I see here is that he's very subjective to interpret if the pattern is similar to the pattern they already have of the game. Because like in this particular case with Palworld, it's like you just need to see the game to see like no.
Similar.
It's very similar, right?
Yeah.
I get it. But it's what this concept represents for the industry, because then it opens a conversation. What if a concept that you're implementing in a new game is very similar to the one that already exists, and maybe that's part of your fault? Like, for example, what if you patent an open world game? What would that do?
well, I mean that's too broad. Patent open world concept is too broad. So obviously it's gonna get thrown out if someone brings up a lawsuit like that.
Yeah, so it's like they would make the argument that these should not have been granted, like those patents should
Yeah.
never have been granted,
Yeah.
and then obviously they would win because like you can't.
But yeah, I mean, if you guys played Palworld, you know this. It's very similar to Pokemon. Even the HAL designs. Like,
I'd say it's similar, but it definitely does not play the same.
no. Yeah.
It's a totally different. I would say it's very inspired.
I mean, I played it. Right? And as I was playing it, I was like thinking to myself, damn, you know, if Pokemon made a game like this, it would be even bigger hit.
Oh, like a survival breeding,
exactly.
You know, like all of a sudden you have 20 Pikachus.
Yeah,
you know what? That would actually be really cool.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that's the reason why I think the Pokemon Company or Nintendo, they're setting the groundworks, right? Because if they do have this idea in the future, they don't want to be associated with Palworld.
Or get, you know, lost or cut out.
Yeah. What's going on? What's going on?
If you wanted to, like, just you're a little bit.
Oh no, it looks fine. Focus looks fine. Yeah,
I think it's on auto.
Yeah, that's fine. You guys can see us. We look good in focus, right?
Just watch on your phone.
Please tell me I'm handsome. Please tell us we're handsome.
Yeah.
Watch on your phone. Watch on a small screen.
So our next article, if you want to pull up the Epic Games versus Google.
Oh, all of this is alleged.
So this article was pretty funny to me when I read it. Like,
in what way?
So basically, Epic CEO, what's his name? Tim Sweeney? Todd Sweeney?
Ted
Sweeney?
Ted? What? Mr.
Sweeney. Mr. Sweeney is Tim Sweeney. He's alleging that Google and Samsung, they're kind of working together to make it harder for users to download their Epic Store app on their
which is a
phones.
Direct competitor to, right? Or is trying to be a direct competitor to the Play Store, right?
Yeah, in a way.
So
right?
that way, you know, if you want to download an Epic game, you don't go to the Play Store, you go to the Epic app.
Yeah. And so, you know, as I was reading this article, you know, I was going through it and I was like, damn, you know, and Tim Sweeney, he's bringing up some good points. He's what Google and Samsung is allegedly doing. That's, you know, it's kind of messed up.
Yeah,
you can't really do that because it's anti-compete laws or something, right? You're making it harder for the competition to. You're not playing on a fair and even ground, basically, right?
And also, he stated that he didn't want to approach Samsung to ask, like, for Epic Games to become an authorized.
So yeah, that's the funny part, right? Because he goes through all this, claiming all this, then at the end of the day, he's like, okay, well, I didn't ask Samsung to make the Epic Store an authorized app. If he did that, all this would have been thrown out. Like, none of this would even matter.
You know, I respect it because that's a good point. He didn't do it because
he doesn't want to share.
It's not about him being able to distribute or Epic Games being able to distribute their games. About the fact that for the user, it's not easy to install.
Well, so if you scroll down to the comments, a bunch of users actually did install, and they said it took 3 steps, right? You go to the Epic website.
21 steps, I thought.
Well, no, 21 steps to disable. So Samsung has this feature called Auto Blocker. It basically blocks unapproved
apps, right? So not like Samsung checked for like viruses or.
So in this case,
whatever.
it's the Epic Store app because right now Epic Store is not approved. So Auto Blocker basically blocks it, right? And Tim Sweeney's saying, well, it takes 21 steps to disable Auto Blocker because before it wasn't enabled automatically, but now it is kind of enabled as soon as you get the phone. You know what I mean? So it takes 21 steps to disable it, which is a hassle, right? It's blocking the Epic Store app from being downloaded. But all Epic will need to do is just get approval to be an authorized source to bypass that. But then Tim Sweeney admits that he didn't do that. But like, why not just do that?
You also want to, I guess, play devil's advocate for like Samsung and those companies. Like, as a normal user who's not very familiar, if I go to a website, let's say I wasn't familiar, right? If I go to a website and I just like, oh, download this app to read, I don't know, books online or something for free, and I download it, and it's not that, and it definitely wasn't a Samsung.
So the issue isn't Auto Blocker in itself. Like, Auto Blocker blocking unauthorized sources, that's a good thing.
Yeah. The issue is disabling it, right?
Well, the issue is that I think the issue is Epic is not getting authorized. Like, he just needs to go to Samsung and be like, hey, authorize my app as a trusted source. Right? That's simply like all he needs to do, it seems like.
And he didn't do that.
Android is like open source, so every company that takes it kind of customizes it in their own way. They add their layer, and Samsung has their own. type of Android, their own variation of Android. So in their version of the OS, they implemented this feature to make it more difficult to install apps. And I think the reason why Epic is not asking to become an authorized app distributor or whatever term they want to use is because they want the user to be able to just install it in an easy way. Because if you go to another version of Android, it's very easy to disable the option to install apps outside. But just like if you see this screen, like I saw this screenshot and I was like, damn, 12 steps. And this is just one screenshot. Imagine there's more.
Yeah.
He's saying 21.
That's how to disable auto blocker though. But yeah, I mean, if your concern is about, you know, downloading like malicious apps, you probably don't want to disable that, right?
But I think because Tim Sweeney is also, he's talking about the money that the Play Store takes.
Well,
right?
If he was an authorized seller or authorized source, you would just download the Epic app like on your phone. You still wouldn't go to the Play Store.
So they wouldn't have to pay anything to,
from what I understand, no. Because you would have the app. But then like if you scroll down to comments, you'll see like people are easily downloading the Epic app still. Like it's not as hard as
might be blown out of proportion than that sort of stuff. I mean
it makes like,
as a person who doesn't really play games or whatever on his phone, makes no difference to me.
Yeah.
Right. But I can see where people are, if you know your phone is your only device and you're trying to play Fortnite or something, right? Yeah. And it's just a big pain in the butt to download the game or get anywhere in the game, then yeah, maybe it sucks. Yeah. But
I mean, even in the article, he admits that like what he's alleging, he doesn't have proof yet. So it's, I don't know, it's just kind of funny to me. And you know, another I don't know, it just seems very funny. He doesn't have proof, and he didn't ask to be an authorized source. So like maybe just ask to be authorized source.
Yeah, I guess. But maybe he wants to fight for just not having to get that permission and just like being able to do what he wants to do, right? And just being free.
Yeah.
But then again, there's the security of this stuff, I guess. But if it protects the more dumb users that way, you know, just having those protections enabled versus not having them and then something happening and that user still not knowing to activate those protections, right?
But you shouldn't have the right to be dumb if you want to. Like if you want to download an app outside of PlayStation.
Yeah, sure, but if you are not familiar with it and something happens and you're using a Samsung phone, you're like, it's the phone's fault, right? I'm gonna blame the product. It's never my fault as a consumer. It's always wherever, right? Because I don't want to take any of the blame.
Maybe that's a good point.
You know, I right? Like as generalized reasoning, if something bad happens while I'm using a product, the first thing I'm gonna think is not user error. The first thing I'm gonna think is maybe there's something wrong with this thing I'm using.
Yeah, I think a lot of our customer support team can relate to that.
If you're downloading a game from
you need a lot of patience.
AndroidFreeGames.com, then you kind of expect.
Well, who knows, right? Maybe you're using that site in the past and it was good, and then all of a sudden somebody bought it and somebody's using it for malicious things.
I don't know. Very interesting though. Very interesting. So I think a topic chat might be super interested is
50 series, 5000 series.
RTX 5000 series.
Rumors.
We have it right here. Just kidding.
They're all rumors.
No, these are facts. What are you talking about? These are facts. It's straight up facts.
What do you mean? I guess the power, because Sonic accidentally leaked that. So but other than that,
the 5000 series, RTX 5000, 5090. Well, I think 5080 and 5090 will be releasing first, and those are rumored to be coming out early 2025. They might reveal it
end of the year, probably.
Yeah, end of the year, maybe CES, so around January 2025. But from what was leaked in the specs, I think it's all great. I mean,
everything's faster across the board.
Everything's faster.
More powerful.
Yeah. I think the 5090 is kind of estimated to be 50% faster than the 4090, which is crazy, right? 32 gigabytes of DDR7 RAM compared to 24 of DDR6X.
GDR,
yeah. So
that's faster.
I mean, everything's just faster across the board. I think maybe the more interesting cards, because they're coming out with apparently they're coming out with an RTX 5050.
Yeah, but that's also the slower memory, right? From what this article
It's using,
says.
I mean, slower, but it's DDR6, which is still, pretty
yeah,
good.
but 40 series is 6x.
So it's like 60?
Yeah.
Well, what about they don't have a 4050 though, right? Yeah.
Really?
No.
It's kind of dumb. No. We just haven't seen those cards.
Yeah.
Here.
But I mean, I think for the low end, like 5050, 5060, even 5070, if those are the names, I don't know if those are names, but I think those would be like users who are going for those cards will see a huge performance jump. I think
Maybe.
Okay.
I think it really just depends on how much they cost.
Right.
And if they can beat price to performance counterpart from the last generation, right? So
I mean, probably, I think most likely, I'm speculating, but most likely not. I think.
Yeah, but for the past few releases, every single card has been a considerable jump, right? So like 4090 versus 3090. 4090 is way better.
It said
because AMD is not going to compete in the high end.
So we don't know what that means yet, right? Because like they could be competing with 4080s.
High end could just mean,
or it could be the RTX 6000, the ADA cards, those workstation high-end cards, right, with 48 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
Or do we know already? I'm not sure if they've said anything.
But I mean, like, I think what they estimate the 59 to be $1,300 or something.
No way.
How much is 4090?
It's like 1,600, man.
I thought I read somewhere it said maybe the 4080.
After you get down the line, it's closer to like 2,000.
I read somewhere that something estimated to be 1,300. I think it might have been the 5080.
Oh, that's not good then, because the 4080 is only around 1,000.
Yeah.
Right, MSRP ish.
Yeah.
13 is like an extra 300.
Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't say. Right, it's not rumored to, but if it is like 50%, well, let me ask you, if the 4080 to 5080 jump is 50% better in terms of performance, 50% faster.
Oh, so you mean like if a 5080 outperforms a 4090?
No, 4080.
Well, I'm saying if it does, if it can outperform a 4090, great. I'll take a 5070
for 1,300.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
But if it doesn't. That's not worth it.
What if it matches a 4090? Like matches in.
If it matches, then yeah.
5% slower than 4090.
Well, yeah, then sure. I would say if it's matches or is very close to 4090, then yeah, that'd be
usually that is the case though, right? From generation to generation, like
it's like a stair step.
Yeah. Right? So like 4070
closer to
better than 4080 or 3080.
3080
right?
is pretty close, yeah.
So,
and you get the new technology too, right? I'm assuming there's going to be new technology.
This is new graphics memory, right? GDDR7.
Yeah. So frame gen 2 is only for 40 series. You can't get it on 30 series. All that stuff.
Yeah, I think at that point they're going to be moving on to DLSS 4. They're on 3.5 right now, I think.
Almost there.
Yeah.
Also compatible with PCIe 5, which means capabilities.
Yeah, the 12-volt high.
Yeah.
Oh.
So everything is just faster. Oh yeah, in terms of power, all of these cards apparently are using 16-pin connectors,
which is crazy. They say maybe some will use 2.
16-pin. Wow.
Well, AIB, right? I think there was a 3090 that took 2 of the. Yeah, I think it was a Lax one. It was kind of crazy. It was like. Normally, no, we never sold it, but it was like normally you would see, 3 8-pin connectors, but this time you saw 2 12-pin connectors because the 30 series ones didn't have the sense pins. But
it's I mean, I'm interested to see all this. The power supply actually, like the power dropped, right? Because originally we saw 600.
That's no, the default power was 450, so it's a 50-watt increase. The 600 is for overclocking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
so maybe this card goes to 750. Right? Because like 450 plus 150 is 600 watts.
But
right?
4090 though, right?
Yeah.
So a 4080
could go up to.
I mean, a 5090.
A 4080 can go up to like I think 450 watts if you just like crank it.
So if a 5090 requires
500 base, then 750 watts
Yeah.
overclocking, maybe 800. That's a whole power supply. That's like just one power supply. 750 watts is what a normal, like I would say, a moderate computer needs.
that's just for the GPU too, right? That's not accounting for like all the other components in there. So yeah, I mean, 1,000 watts, 1,000 watts, 1,200 watts.
Crap, at that point, I'm just gonna buy a second power supply. I'm not gonna upgrade my power, just buy two.
How would you connect that?
They have jumper pins. So you can
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
yeah, so it's like a adapter. You plug one power supply in and then the other power supply into the motherboard, and then when you turn on the main power supply, it jumps the second power supply, so it just turns on and it'll feed power to the cables.
That's crazy. Where'd that power supply go? In terms of like the tower?
Oh, just on the floor.
Sit outside.
Just on the floor. If I have this money on another power supply for that card, I'm not gonna spend money on the case.
What about you have an experience with like external GPUs? What if you got?
Do not.
What if you got like a 5090 external?
As long as it can handle it, I guess. I know what you're talking about. Like I think Aorus has
That
the
case?
not IG2, the case where it goes through like Thunderbolt, right?
Yeah.
You can game off of it. I heard they were good, at least, but
So how does it?
also very expensive.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you're not just paying for the GPU; you're paying
Yeah,
for
like,
the GPU and the case and the connections, and it connects directly with Thunderbolt, like Thunderbolt to the GPU in the case.
So it connects. You connect the GPU to your laptop, and then
Oh well, what if you want to use it on desktop, like an external GPU?
I think you can do it that way too. Let me see. It's like it says Aorus has one. I'm trying to find it on Amazon. Oh, right here.
Okay.
4090 eGPU. Oh, it's called eGPU.
External
But
GPU. Yeah.
Thunderbolt 3. I mean, but it's also I think 300 or 400 more than a normal 4090.
I mean, you were paying for the enclosure too, right? So,
Yeah. So, but you can. I think you can put any card in it if you want.
Okay.
It's just I wouldn't say it's worth it. They
Yeah.
look cool.
Yeah, some of these
They've been
external
around for a
GPUs,
while.
Yeah, external GPUs are pretty cool. I guess it wouldn't make sense if you have a desktop already, like with a decent GPU.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, I would say it's mainly for like if you travel a lot, if you don't want to lug around a heavy ITX, you could just, I guess, lug around a heavy GPU and a laptop, but you
So-
could also get a thinner laptop, one without a GPU, you know, more battery powered,
Okay.
or battery life, I guess you would say, right? Not sure if a 50 series would be able to go in there. That's a lot of power. That's like
I
way
mean,
more.
I mean, at this point, like you said, it's all speculation, it's all rumors, right? We
Mhm.
don't know what any of these performance can be. We don't know. Yeah, we know nothing basically.
I'm really excited to see what they're gonna look like.
Yeah, I mean, Nvidia design Founders Edition, at least, right? They're always like
Yeah,
super nice.
I think since the 30 series, their founders editions have looked really
Yeah, premium.
good.
Yeah.
Like I really like that
Yeah.
look.
Yeah, it's
Minimalistic, you know, a lot of nice aluminum.
I like the colors too, like kind of the bronze,
Yeah.
bronze color.
Mhm. Not
Yeah.
a huge fan of the silver for the lower cards though. But I do like the bronze. Like the bronze is really nice.
that black
the
and bronze.
super is like completely black, which
Yeah.
is also really nice too.
I mean, if the numbers don't lie, I think that people like our guy here, PS and Tech Nerd, will see a lot of change. Like especially when you have monitors 4K with a lot of
4K at 160
when you
FPS.
need a
That's
lot of
really
data
good.
Transfer.
What did he wants our opinion on what?
Oh,
$1,200, $1,300 monitor, and you can't find a game that plays at 240 hertz. Well, it's a lot of, I think even for a 4090, that's a lot of pixels. It depends on the settings too, right? I mean, if you lower the settings all the way, the game should still look nice because it's 4K. But I don't think a lot of games will play at that FPS. I mean, when you get to higher screen sizes, there's a lot more on the screen.
Yeah, it's just a lot more processing the GPU has to do.
That's what I'm saying. The new ones should be able to perform better.
I mean,
Yeah, the
in
new ones will
theory,
always-
like on paper, but
Paper.
yeah, we don't know. Nobody knows what these cards will actually perform like yet.
Who knows?
So yeah, I mean, the 32 gigabyte 5090, that's still speculation. Who knows if it actually has 32 gigabytes? It could still have 24 gigabytes, but of new memory of GDR7 instead of 6X.
No, it's true.
So but
All
even-
rumors.
Yeah, it's all rumors right now.
Just patiently waiting for them.
But I would say a 5090 should be the new standard for 4K gaming. So,
I
like,
think the issue would be the pressure would be more for developers, to be honest. Because right now, I think that the issue is becoming that games are not actually extracting all what a GPU can do.
what do you mean by that?
So, like, if games are not well optimized, then they they won't use the GPU at full. That's a lot of the issue that I see that this will bring, because it will have a lot of power, but that will involve more game development for them to
Right.
take advantage of all that.
I mean, that could be true. Yeah. I mean, it depends on a lot of things right now, right? Speculation. I'll call it just rumors. Nobody knows for sure yet.
Grain of
Yeah.
salt in your opinion.
Oh, thanks, Gerardo.
That top G?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's him.
All right, well, I think, well, I mean, we covered a lot. There was an extra article on here.
Was there? I don't think
well,
we skipped one, did we?
We didn't skip one. It was on here. The
Most gamers prefer
So-
single player games.
yeah.
You gotta show this
Well, I don't
screen,
think he has
actually.
this one.
Oh,
But we found this article that was done
white screen.
by this research company
Here, why don't you just read it?
called Media, MIDIA. It's basically saying most gamers are preferring
Single player games, yeah.
like a single player experience over multiplayer games. And you know, I think for
does have
me personally,
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, yeah, it's on there. I think for me personally, that might be true, right? I am kind of leaning towards more single player experiences. I still, occasionally go back to multiplayer games because I do like to play with my friends and, kind of grind things out. But I don't know, how do you feel about it? Do you think this is true? Do you think this research kind of...
Yes.
Okay.
To expand on that, in the
Yeah.
beginning, I would play a lot of games with my friends, right? Like all these online games. But
Yeah.
as I kind of grew older, either I have less time or they have less time, or the times that we play together don't match up. So we
Yeah.
never really play a lot together anymore. So I just ended up playing by myself.
Single player games for you.
Holy grail of single player games?
I don't know.
For me, Zelda. Big fan.
Okay.
I don't really have anything specific.
Throw out one single player game that you played recently.
Risk of Rain.
Risk of Rain. I was gonna say Risk
Two.
of Rain too. Risk of Rain, Wukong, right?
Sounds good. I think Risk of Rain is better because
There's
lower
more-
computer requirements.
There's more. Yeah, there's more. I think there's more pathways you can take with Risk of Rain. Like, you can play so many different ways.
The entry, or the what's it called? Level of entry is much lower.
Yeah,
I don't
kind
forgot
of
what the
the
term
learning
is.
curve or something, right?
Yeah, and also like the hardware you need to play
Yeah.
the game is way lower.
But also, like, this kind of brings it back to the discussion we were having earlier about like DRM games, right? If more games, if developers and publishers kind of focus more on single player games,
Yeah.
they could kind of get rid of that DRM
Oh, yeah,
thing.
that aspect. Yeah.
that aspect, and then kind of just make games all offline. I mean, we saw how successful Wukong was, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And more people kind of are enjoying that type of game, that type of experience. So yeah, it's just if you want to like play your games 20 years down the road, it makes sense to kind of add a single player experience in there, right?
Or single player with local co-op, because Risk of Rain local co-op, right? You don't need to connect to their servers
Yeah.
or do anything.
But the
Just
thing
play.
is, we're talking from a consumer perspective, right? Like
That's the
companies-
only perspective that should matter.
Oh, yeah, but companies, see, like if we play a game for 20 years, companies aren't gonna want that, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
they want us to
of course.
spend money and
Because
everything.
that
right?
means they have to keep shelling out for the servers or
I mean, server
maintenance.
maintenance shouldn't be too expensive, but the thing is, we're not kind of what companies are leaning towards to, like game companies are leaning towards what's called live service games. So
Yeah.
games that are like
Diablo 4.
yeah, where there's like
Division
incentive
2.
to kind of keep logging on to play.
Wow.
Yeah, like paid, not paid to win, but like pay to progress, I guess, or like
like they keep
item
coming out with
shops,
skins and
Yeah.
stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, Fortnite.
Yeah.
That is a great example.
exactly.
You know, a lot of skins.
Yeah, and it,
actually-
like
Microtransactions are getting even
Microtransactions,
That's the word.
to the going back to the Ubisoft topic that we discussed earlier. Did you know that they actually, I don't remember exactly which game it was, but they had microtransactions in single player mode. I think it was one Assassin's Creed. where you could-
Valhalla.
oh yeah, and,
Origin too, I think.
I think Odyssey had the same thing, but it's like it's not necessary to
Yeah, so
like,
I mean,
progress.
for those games,
Like you don't lose out on anything.
you don't.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
You can actually play offline for those games too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, but like you don't need to buy them. They
Yeah.
do nothing. Oh well, some of them do special
I know
abilities.
for I know Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you could just grind for those items. So you buy those items to just kind of make the grind less, but you could always just get them anyways.
Oh, Fallout New Vegas and Skyrim. Fallout New Vegas was good. Skyrim is also good, but only
Yeah.
because of the mods.
Because of the culture.
Oh yeah, I mean, The Witcher 3 is
Oh yeah,
a huge game for me. I love that game,
that game still looks really good for
especially
its
now
age.
since they did the RTX update and all that.
Yeah.
RTX on update. I forgot what I was gonna say about this, but
Well, I mean, I think when you're younger, I think you play online more. But as you get older, I think you probably lean more towards single player. The other good part about that I like about single player games is that I can stop it at any time.
yeah,
And I'm not stuck into like a 40-minute match or a 50-minute match or something, right? I can just, if I really need to go to the bathroom, I can just stop it and leave. Or I have to do something else, I can just stop it, I walk away and
Pause the
come
game,
back
pause
to
the
it
game,
later.
Yeah.
I think
So what else I was going to say is that so games are leaning towards more live service, and I think that kind of feeds on our psychological need, because like say for example a game like Fortnite, there's login bonuses, right? Every time you log in you get something, right? And a lot of games are kind of leaning towards this,
Yeah.
and it kind of feeds our psychological need of like missing out. You get this FOMO, right?
Yeah.
If I don't log in and I don't get this reward, I'm missing out on something.
Because it's a very limited reward.
Yeah, it's like
Like I was talking about Diablo 4, because I
Yeah.
feel bad because I
Yeah.
didn't play those other seasons even though the game sucked.
yeah. So you feel like you missed out on gear or
Yeah, like the just cosmetics.
cosmetics,
I just
exactly.
missed out on cosmetics that
Yeah.
I think are cool now and I can't get.
and those are like legacy
Yeah.
cosmetics now that you can't get anymore. So yeah, I mean I think that's the direction most game developers are going. Live service games, I think is what it's called. I mean it is what it is. There's always gonna be developers like Wukong, right?
Yeah, where they don't do that.
Yeah, and you're gonna have those gems, those that you could just enjoy.
There was another game that came out recently too, right? The single player.
there's certain
Oh, it was Warhammer. No, that's not single player.
there's a certain feeling
We
too
played that.
at least for me, I think you can only get in single player games, and I'm thinking about Undertale, for example. That's like a full experience, single player experience, and it's
Mhm.
unique in the sense of what it left you feeling after you finish the game.
Yeah.
Something you can only get that. I don't know if that would work online.
No. So that type of feeling, like I had that feeling with The Witcher 3, like going through the entire story, learning about it, and just kind of discovering things. I'll never get that experience again. Even if I replay the game, it's not gonna be the same experience, right? But that type of experience you can't have with like an online
But also, like, sorry to expand on that, like experiencing things for the first time or like playing it through and, you know, getting all the different endings. Majority of people don't do that. Majority of people
Really?
want instant gratification.
Oh yeah. I guess
That's why the live service works.
Yeah, but also on the flip side of that is that
Yeah.
you could create different experiences with multiplayer games. Like you can create experiences with friends and all that,
Mhm.
which could be, and I guess arguably could be even better,
Yeah.
right? So it's yeah. I mean,
Even the ones that do this very good is From Software, that they've been able to integrate a sort of multiplayer in their single player story, in which you can kind of interact with other players in your single player campaign, but in different ways. Like they can leave notes, or you can
Oh, yeah,
ghost,
yeah.
or do PvP,
Yeah.
all that. That's
Or
just
somebody will come by, kill you, and then you have to start all over
So there are
again.
ways to do it.
I hate getting invaded in Dark Souls and Demon Souls or whatever.
Just walking
Elden
around
Ring.
minding your own business, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden you
Enjoy
see
the
that
game, man.
you've been evaded. It's like, oh, man, and you're really low
I gotta get
level,
those
and they got
20s.
everything, and just like, I'm just gonna jump off the cliff.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot of good topics, a lot of interesting things happening around the industry, around the gaming industry, not not just the PC industry, but
Good conversation.
it was a good conversation. But I mean, you guys let us know, like, if you like this type of topic. I think
Like this kind of stream, or do
Yeah.
you guys prefer us like building a computer, or
me personally, I feel like I should be moving around doing something. I prefer those type of streams, like if we're like building something or doing something.
Yeah.
Like sitting here is cool, talking to you guys is cool, getting your guys' opinion and sharing our opinion, that's cool, but I wanna move around and
Oh, I mean,
man.
my only downside is like when you're actually building a computer, it's difficult to talk and build at the same time, or like sometimes
yeah.
you just
I mean,
you're doing something in silent, and then the other person is kind of like talking and talking.
it's it helps
But,
us develop multitasking skills, right? But you guys let us know what you guys prefer, what you want to see us do, what do you want to see us talk about.
Yeah, maybe like a stream with the most asked questions about how to do something, or I don't know,
You want to see us play games again? You want to see us play games again?
shock each other when we die in the game.
Good. It's open canvas, a blank canvas. We can do anything we want, I think.
I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
As long as enough people want it.
We will do what you guys want us to do.
Yeah, because we're really looking for ideas, because if not, we're gonna go back to building.
Which is fun. I mean, I don't
computers.
mind it. I think it's fun. So moving and talking is kind of...
Morris's morning routine.
Who asked that? You asked that?
Yep, so this is it.
This is it. Thanks for joining. We had fun. Interesting. We talked about a lot of good things. Yeah. Share the VOD, share the video on the YouTube, on the stream.
Yep.
Let people know. If you find, let us know what else you prefer to watch.
Yeah, let us know on Discord.
We're gonna do we'll be doing
all
this
that
every
stuff.
Friday, so we'll be here
Should be 1:00 PST.
every Friday.
Yes, sir.
We have fun no matter what, so.
I have fun every day. I don't know what you're talking about. You have the smile on my face, it never leaves.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.